When was the first time you felt guided? Do you remember?
Oh gosh. Huh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is Erica, the personal developer here from the editor side, along with my friend Ivana from Okolo Isabels. You can also find me at emotional.freedom. So, this is the second part of the episode where Ivana and I analyze and start a conversation on Gabby Bernstein's book, The Universe Has Your Back. I hope that you enjoy this part. If you haven't already, go to the previous episode so you can know what else have we learned and discussed from this amazing book. Take care.
Huh.
Difficult
Actually,
question.
yes.
Okay.
Very simply, like my friend, I was in law school and I was working on my computer all day. And one of my friends from out of town had visited, and so all my friends were at the bar, and they all wanted me to stop by for a drink. And
Hmm.
so like I drove over there. I couldn't find a parking in front of the bar. Somebody was telling me like don't park, like just go home. I'm like, no, but then I'm gonna upset them. They want to see me. She's here in town. I need to go say hi.
Hmm.
I won't stay long. I'll just have one drink. And so I parked the street away on a dark street with no other cars. It was just my car that was parked there. And then I walked to the bar. It wasn't very far, and something was telling me like you really shouldn't have done that, like you can still leave, like go back to your car and go home. And I'm like, no, like I don't want to disappoint them, because I was living back in those days where like I put so much of my value in other people's opinions and my friends'
Yeah.
opinions and my friends. I was living a life where my friends were my life, and so like I didn't want to disappoint them, and I didn't want to be that bad friend, because
Hmm.
my value depended on their thoughts about me, right? Like I didn't love myself enough to be like, no, I'm going home. We'll see each other another time.
Yeah.
So I went in the bar, I had a drink, I said hi, we hung out, and then I was walking back to my car and just had this feeling like this is not going to end well. And as I was walking to my car, I saw that the window was busted in my car, and I was like, this is first. It was like one of those processes where like that's not happening. Like you're like this is not my reality. And I'm walking to my car, and I get to my car, and I realize that someone stole my purse with my laptop inside of it. And
Come
so there goes
on.
like my laptop that I needed to take my exams with, all the notes that I had on my laptops, my life, my work, my law school, like exams were coming up in a few weeks, all the work I had
Damn.
done, like, and I just started crying. And that was a moment where like I should have listened to my intuition, because my intuition was telling me that you should go home, you shouldn't park
Hmm.
here, you shouldn't do this. But I suppressed the voice and I didn't listen,
How
and
many
that's what happened.
times? How many times we've done that? How many times?
Yes,
We're like, I think I shouldn't do this thing. I think I shouldn't go. I
yes.
think I should say no. And yeah, we should follow our intuition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know what? Actually, what ended up happening out of that story is that a woman came by my apartment and returned my planner, a couple of bills, and some of my notes. And she
Okay.
said that she found them. I believe it was probably one of her kids that stole my laptop. But because why would she go through all that trouble to return my notes to
Oh
my
my God.
apartment? Because I had my address written in my planner, so she returned my notes. But the good thing came out of it, like all my friends like jumped in and like we'll email you our outline, we'll like help you like if you haven't done something. And I ordered a new laptop, it came in. So like
Hmm.
it showed me that like my friends were willing to help me, and that goodness still existed in people. And unfortunately I had to learn it the hard way, and I had to learn it the hard way that I needed to listen to my intuition.
Yeah, sometimes you'll learn this way. I had a very special revealing of being guided. It was very special. So I was sitting down meditating. I was just starting my healing journey. And I had been meditating for 21 days with Deepak Chopra and Oprah,
Okay.
as I always said. No, actually, I was doing one of the Deepak Chopra meditations
Okay.
and I just went somewhere else. So, and I had this vision of two beings,
Mm-hmm.
and they were taking me into a tour of
Okay.
my past,
Oh
of
wow.
being abused and all
Mm-hmm.
these things. So I was take like it was like a journey to the
Okay.
past, and after that, I was seeing how this being was just like there. It was just like a white light. He was there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I also saw the past of the person who abused me. That's how I
Okay.
forgave him.
Okay.
Uh, And I was, I was just feeling this thing where they were telling me, you are not alone, you are not alone, you are not alone. And
Mhm.
it was just like a vision. And I knew that I was being guided and supported. That's how I knew. And it is crazy because since I was a kid, I, I saw all the situations. Like when I was, for example, in between, I had this fight with my mom, and then I had to walk to the supermarket. So I was like crying. I was like a mess. I was like a mess. I was a
Mhm.
kid. I don't know how old was I. I wasn't actually a kid. I was 17 probably. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
So I was walking down the street, and then a bus was coming this way, and a different bus and another bus was coming that way, and I thought that the bus was going to stop, but he wasn't. So I
Mhm.
started walking, and the bus, and I got stuck in between the two buses.
Oh, wow.
So I was like,
Okay,
if I
wow.
had to die,
Yeah.
if it was my moment, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be here.
Wow.
So I saw this situation, and I saw being guided and helped. It's just like it was
Mhm.
so crazy. So I'm 100% sure that I'm guided,
Yes.
and I sometimes like just talk to these beings to, ask for
I think it's a
parking.
struggle for us. As for parking, yes. There is a special parking god out there somewhere, and he has gotten so
I
many
ask
prayers.
for parking. If you are with me, you were probably gonna find parking. I do that seriously.
It's so true. That is so true. There is a parking god out there somewhere.
Ah,
I think the hardest thing for all of us is to tune out the outside noise so that we can hear what our guides are trying to tell us,
yes.
and to believe what we're hearing, not be like, oh no, that's really not what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's really not what you said.
No, that's not what I want to do. So I'm not gonna listen to you. Da 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 da. You know what? A great way to ask for guidance is to write things down.
Yes.
It's to, how do you call this? You call this something writing, not creative. I don't know. There is this technique. I don't have a
Okay.
technique. I just sometimes I meditate, and I have this
Mhm.
urge to write, and then I write things for
Mhm.
myself. Call me crazy, but it
Mhm.
helps me in life.
Yeah.
Um, and and it helps you because sometimes people get downloads. People wrote entire books on downloads from the universe
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, what I also love about Gabby's book is that she talks about how she uses many different practices from different modes of thought. Like she uses
true.
Kundalini mantras, she follows the Deepak Chopra meditation, she does things by
Hmm.
John of God from Brazil. And I love that because it says that like you can find your own path. You don't have to just go down one road. You can pick different things from different methods that work for
Hmm.
you and develop your own. And I love that.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but I think that's very interesting, and I do love it. And I love following
Mhm.
people that don't have like this strict thought, like
Yes.
from one thing. This is the
Hmm.
real deal. This is the thing, and you just whatever. And I like this attitude of, you know what? Let me get
Yeah.
knowledge from Wayne Dyer. I love Wayne Dyer. I forgot to
I
mention
know,
that
me
you said it.
too.
I love Wayne Dyer.
Yeah.
Like seriously, oh, he's
Yes.
an amazing person, human being.
She also talks about the mantra Soham, and I've been in a yoga class before where people were bawling their eyes out when they kept on like chanting Soham, because
Yeah.
when you're chanting it over and over again, it sounds like a crying baby almost when a
Mhm,
lot of people
mhm.
are chanting it, and it brings up all these emotions for people. And she says
Yeah.
that that's her mantra that she used, that her mom first taught to her when she was
Oh, it's
depressed. Do you
true.
remember that? Like when
Yeah.
she was going through depression as a teenager, her mom like set her down on a meditation pillow and taught her how to meditate using Soham.
Yeah.
And I love with Gabby because she's so authentic. She talks about how like she used meditation at work and then she got away from it and started living her life, and then she
Yes.
was back to where she was like with the depression again, and she realized that she had, but now she had the tools. She knew that Soham worked, and she like was able to come back to it. So I
Mhm.
feel like everything she talks about is very real and authentic because she shares like hey, I'm not this perfect person that meditates every single
Yes.
day,
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
enlightened, that doesn't have that doesn't have these fears that other people.
Hmm.
She also talked about this one time where she didn't. she didn't get an invite to a party, and she's like on all these like different emotions started
Yes.
coming up about feeling that she
Oh,
wasn't
poor
popular and she wasn't
thing.
liked, and why didn't she get an invite? And what happens is that the invite went to her junk email box, and she didn't even know it. And so like there's all these stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves that are not true, right? When
Yeah.
something happens. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's important to question our beliefs and like where do these come from and why do I believe that? And is that even true? Is that belief even true? And if it's not, it's not. And we can stop telling ourselves that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you mentioned this story where she started meditating with her mom,
Yes.
that her mom gave her the mantra. And the thing that I could relate the most is just she talks about how quitting meditation took her to that place of depression.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
not saying that meditation is the cure for depression, it depends on the person, okay? Everybody,
Hmm.
don't shoot me. It depends on the person, it depends on the severity. Um, but I love this because I experienced this within myself. And I know this is,
Yes.
you know what? From time to time, I start feeling very weird. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, I wake up very depressed. What is happening? I'm feeling this anxiety. And then I go to
Hmm.
my tracking list because I
Hmm.
do have a tracking list for meditation, for
Hmm.
yoga. I'm like, I haven't been meditating, or I haven't. Usually, it's not about meditation. Usually, it's about more like the journaling
Okay.
process
Yeah.
and everything. I know that there are a few things that work for me, and
Hmm.
as I said the other day, it's like self-preservation. It's not even self-care; it's self-preservation. And if I don't do those things, I start. My mind doesn't work the same way, and
Hmm.
I start going back to that anxious girl all of the sudden.
Yes.
And then I
Yes.
go back to my practices, and guess what? In 1 week, I'm all happy. Life is good. I can do anything.
Yes.
And so it's a good reminder of keeping up with our practices. And when you know what works for you, just do the thing, just keep doing, don't stop doing your grounding practices,
Yep.
because that will slow you down, that will give you suffering that it's not necessary. We just make have to make a small effort to do this thing, and
Hmm.
that's it. So I could
Yeah.
totally relate to it, because she spoke about how she went on vacation with her boyfriend, and she was able to meditate and everything went well,
Yes.
but then she got back and feeling good. Oh, and another thing, we start to get confident, right? We
Yes.
start to,
Yes.
you know what, I got this, I don't need to meditate.
Hmm.
No, you do. Sit down and meditate, because you do need to meditate. That's
Yes.
me
We feel
talking
good
to
because
myself.
we meditate. That's why we feel
Exactly. You
good.
don't
Yeah.
feel good because you're the best. Like, you are the best, but it's not because of it. It's because you have grounding
Yeah.
practice. It's
Hmm.
totally, yes.
I agree with that. And I loved, do you remember when she was talking about buying a house and they were so frustrated about trying to find the right place? And then she just
Yeah.
stopped and said a prayer and asked the
Yes.
universe for guidance. And then
Mm-hmm.
she asked for a sign. And I love that. And I feel like I was asking for a sign as well, but I didn't know what my sign was because I was trying to think of different animals. And I'm like, well, but that animal you see all
Just
the
pick
time, we need to see it.
one.
And the funny thing is, like, I actually got the sign. Like, I was at my friend's house and I was staying for a week, and a
Mm-hmm.
ladybug showed up in my bedroom, and I knew that that was the sign. Because every time I think of ladybugs, I think of Amma, and Amma has just been one of my gurus, and I
Mm-hmm.
love her, and I feel like she's been such a positive force in my life that she's completely changed my life around for the better. And
Mm-hmm.
ladybugs always remind me of her because when I was going through finding out I have an autoimmune disease and just depression and loneliness, I would go to the beach with my yoga mat, and I kid you not, five ladybugs would always show up on my yoga mat on the beach. I have
Oh,
no idea why, when, or from
oh,
where,
that's
but
so
almost every
beautiful.
morning there would be these five ladybugs. One was like yellow, one was orange, and I think that the rest of them were red. So it was just
Oh,
this area of ladybugs that would always show up, and so like that was my sign. My
that's your
sign is the
sign. Yeah,
ladybug.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when it shows up in my life, I feel like I'm on the right path, or I'm with the right people, or I'm doing something that's right in my life.
Mm-hmm. And thinking about the thing of always being guided, it's
Mhm.
also good to, when you get the sign, just think about, it depends, because you can ask for a sign and like ask for a question and just give me the sign so I can know that I'm doing things right. But you also sometimes get signs just to show you that you are on the good path, So, for
Yes.
example, if you see the numbers 1111 or something like that, like a sequence
Mhm.
number, usually I stop and think about what was I thinking or what was I
Yes.
doing. And
Mhm.
it's the most amazing thing. When I'm practicing yoga, sometimes I look at my phone and guess what? Repeating numbers,
Yeah.
and or sometime, or I'm thinking of something and then somebody texts me and I see that it's 1111. 1111 is my
Mhm.
number. Like, I have a friend that calls me 1111 because
That's so
it's
funny.
my
I feel
number.
like my number is
Isn't you?
333,
Oh,
and I
I
see
love
it almost.
333. I
I
love
see it
it.
almost every day. I love threes. Like I've always lived on
Yeah.
the third floor of an apartment. For some reason, like I feel comfort in threes. Like threes
Hmm.
is like my comfort number.
I don't know what's up with the threes, but I love threes. One of my
Yeah.
favorite numbers. And you know what? My mom always used to be like, "What are you doing?" Because when I buy things, I buy like, I don't buy a pair, I buy three. And there's like an obsession with that. I don't know if that's normal, but it happened to you, or,
Yeah.
but yeah. I don't know I don't know how we came to whatever we're talking about right now, but I love it. Oh, signs from the universe. Yes,
Yes.
we are always being guided. We are always
Yeah.
being guided, and we just have to pay attention. And
Mhm.
I also love when she talks about being connected and
Yeah.
being in our power, right?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that in this world, it's very easy to get disconnected.
Yes,
We got
absolutely.
we got our phones, we got a lot of things to do, and sometimes we
Music,
don't have,
sound.
yeah, sometimes we don't have the time to actually connect.
Mhm.
But I also think that it's normal that you are not connected all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible to get connected all the time. Sometimes you
Mhm.
disconnect and you are like, where am I?
Yeah.
And something very beautiful that happens to me sometimes. I don't know if it happens to you as well, but sometimes I'm walking and I actually see the things. Do you know what I
What things?
mean?
What do you mean?
For example, I'm walking and I see a tree, and usually I see a
Okay.
tree and I say, ah, that's a tree. But sometimes I can actually see it, perceive it,
Okay.
in a
Mhm.
total different way. So,
Okay.
and it's so special, like that's true connection, I think, no?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes you're just walking around, but I have this thing where sometimes I really feel the energy of somebody,
Mhm. Mhm.
and or I'm walking and I'm like actually perceiving things, and the
Yeah.
movement from the plants,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's
Or like when a leaf
the
is falling
leaves.
and it starts
Oh,
to twirl.
one
I
of
love
my
that.
favorite
Or
things.
butterflies. Like butterflies to me represent past ancestors.
Oh
And
my
when
god.
they come by, it's like a message from your ancestors, depending on what
Oh,
color the
it happened
butterflies
to
are.
me a month ago. A butterfly came to me, to my finger. That was an ancestor.
Yeah, I believe so. I really do.
I
I
felt
think they're
so
ancestors.
good. I love butterflies. Here
Yeah.
in Tenerife, I don't know what's happening this year, but there are a lot of butterflies, like white
Yeah.
butterflies everywhere. Everywhere. They're just everywhere. It's so beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. I think we can both relate. We love her book. I think it's great, and I love
Yeah.
what you said. It's like a guide to people that are maybe just starting out in a spiritual journey of believing that the universe does have your back and you are being
Yeah.
guided, and start
Hmm.
listening to that inner voice that you have because it's something some intelligent design put it there for a reason. It's there for you to listen to it and to follow it.
Yeah.
And once you do, all these synchronicities will start to become a habit. And it's almost like you'll wake up. You know what I mean? I think synchronicities happen all the time. We just don't see it because we're not paying attention. And
Yeah.
once you're connected to the universe and you,
Hmm.
you know that you're being guided, you start to pay attention. You're like, oh, wow, this happened and that happened because of this. And then this happened and this led me there. And we get so excited about it because we realize
Yeah.
that, like, there's meaning behind it. There's a reason for that happening.
Yeah. And just if you are struggling, just think about all of the struggles that you had before.
Hmm.
That when you got through it, you were like, oh, of course that happened because I needed
Yeah.
to get here. So just think that, the universe has your back, as Gabby said. Just read the book or get
Listen
the
to the book.
audio book and let us know what you thought about it. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's it. I guess we're saying bye-bye for today.
Sounds good. What wine are you drinking today?
Oh, I'm drinking the same as last week. Maybe this
Okay.
week I will actually die. It's a reserva.
Nice.
Hey.
I'm drinking a mix between a Cabernet and a Merlot from Chile.
Oh my God, you're fancy. Okay, next week I'm gonna get a bottle of wine because I can't take this. Okay, we cannot share the wine. Okay, so next week, like seriously, it's unfair. It's
I
unfair.
think next week I might be drinking the same thing because it's a big bottle. It was.
Oh, that's good, but you have the good thing. Okay, I didn't learn my lesson, so next week I'm gonna get nice wine. I'm gonna get my Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get my favorite one. Wine, Portuguese wine,
Okay.
Mateus Rosé.
Oh, sounds very nice.
Okay, you're still here. Bye bye, everyone. Comment,
Bye.
like, share, do all the good stuff.
Sounds good. Bye.